Most people don't realize this, but your environment is shaping you more than you think. Not just the people you surround yourself with, but also the conversations you're having and the energies you're absorbing. And if you feel stuck, and if you feel like every single time you're making some progress, something pulls you back, it might not always be you. Sometimes it's your environment. No matter how driven or ambitious you are, it is hard to stay motivated when your entire world is uninspiring. You are not just a product of your thoughts, you are a product of what you surround yourself with. And whether you realize it or not, your environment is constantly shaping you. It will shape your mindset. If you are surrounded by people who always think small, you will start to shrink your ideas as well. It will also infect your self belief. If people never believe in themselves, you are also not going to believe in yourself. Your environment will also impact your standards because if people are used to mediocrity, it is very hard to push beyond that. And here's the scary part, you might not even realize that this is happening. There is so much truth in the saying, show me your friends and I will show you your future. If you are surrounded by 5 lazy people, guess who the 6th lazy person is? You. If you surround yourself with people who constantly complain, make excuses for themselves, and play small, then you're going to be the same. You're going to pick up their habits. If you surround yourself with people who always think big and push themselves to grow, you will rise to meet their standards as well. Not because they force you to change, but because your environment sets the standard to what feels normal for you. And that's the real danger of staying in an uninspiring space for too long, because mediocrity doesn't look like mediocrity when it's all you've ever known. It looks comfortable, it looks normal, it looks safe, but you have to ask yourself, is this what I want for my future? Or am I just so used to it that I don't even realize anymore how much it is holding me back? What if your environment is actually keeping you at a level that feels comfortable for them, but is actually slowly killing your potential? Just think about that. Many people will not believe in you, and that is not because they're bad people or just because they hate you or are jealous of you, but it is because they also don't believe in themselves. Because up until now, people who weren't chasing their dreams, they always had excuses. They said things like, it doesn't really happen to people like us. This is just what happens in movies. It is so unrealistic. Just be realistic and do what everyone else is doing, right? Because they have seen it and this has proven their belief. But what if suddenly someone like you that came from the same place like them, that grew up in the same environment, under the same circumstances, actually manages to break free from the cycle and actually achieves their dreams? The excuse that they have used before isn't valid anymore suddenly because you have literally proven this excuse to be wrong. You would just remind them that they were the ones who actually got them stuck in the cycle. Not the societies, not the rules of the community or whatsoever, it was them. You are actually literally holding them a mirror and showing them their own limitations and their own failures. Do you think that feels nice? No, it doesn't. That is why a lot of times people are subconsciously hoping that you will keep yourself small as well, so that you don't make them feel miserable for not trying. Even when I left my hometown and I also therefore left my friend circle and I don't really hang out with them a lot anymore, I still love them. I still have respect for them. I still appreciate them for everything that we have gone through, for all the memories, for all the experiences, and for the way they have shaped me to become the person that I am today. But still, when it comes to the people that you surround yourself with, you have to be able to differentiate them between friends and a support system. Back home, I've had great friends. We hung out so much, we laughed a lot, we had great memories together. Yes, they were great friends, but they were not a support system. Friends will listen, but a support system will push you. Friends will hang out, but a support system will hold you accountable. Friends will stick around when times are good, but a support system will support you when times are hard. And when I finally found a support system, I went further than I could have ever done alone. No one succeeds alone. If you look at companies, the CEOs never hold 100% of their shares. They always share the shares between other people because they understand that it takes a great team and a great support system to build something amazing. You can be the most driven person in the world, but if your circle and your environment is constantly complaining and playing small and making excuses for themselves, you are not gonna go far. So you really have to ask yourself, are the people you are surrounding yourself with contributing to your growth? Or do they just feel comfortable? So let's talk about how to build a support system. The biggest mistake people make when they're trying to find a better environment is that they look for external change first before they do the inner work. You have to do the inner work first. You don't attract inspiring and supportive people just by wanting them. You attract them by being the kind of person that they'd want in their life too. Instead of asking, where do I find the people that believe in me? Ask yourself, are you someone who believes in others? Before you ask, where do I find people who push me? Ask yourself, am I pushing myself? Am I showing up as someone worth being around? Because your environment doesn't just shape you, you also shape your environment. You are not the victim here, you are the creator. If you're the kind of person who celebrates others, you deserve to have people that celebrate you as well. If you show up for others, you deserve to have people that show up for you. Being a good person doesn't mean that you constantly pour into someone else's cup without receiving anything in return. You don't have to keep proving your worth to people who don't appreciate it, and you don't have to constantly show up for other people that don't show up for you. You deserve to be in a space where the energy you give comes back to you. And the moment you stop tolerating one-sided relationships is the moment you will start attracting the things that you give out as well. Second point, changing your environment doesn't mean that you have to cut everyone off. This is just about recognizing where to place certain people in your life. Because some people are only meant to stick around for certain chapters of your life, and that is totally okay. But loyalty comes into play when you understand what they have provided to you in your life and you respect them and cherish them for that. You don't have to cut off every single one just because they don't fit your present anymore. Who you have to cut off are toxic people. But let's be real, people are starting to overuse that label toxic because sometimes people just say someone is toxic without recognizing their own parts of it and without taking accountability for it and without seeing things from a bigger perspective. If you're unsure about who belongs in your past, who belongs in your present, and who belongs in your future, you can start by asking yourself that if you were the person that you always wanted to be and you've had everything that you've always wanted to have, would you still hang out with the same kind of people that you're hanging out with now? If you told your circle about your biggest dreams, how would they react? Would they celebrate you and support you? Or would they literally call you crazy? If there is a misalignment, probably both sides will feel it. They will probably feel the same as well. They will also recognize that you and them are probably just growing apart into two different directions, and you can still keep the respect for each other when that happens, right? Nevertheless, it is still important to understand that your environment is either going to be the biggest asset or your biggest limitation, and it is always your choice. Think about it. Maybe it is time for some change. And while you think about it, subscribe to my channel and see you in my next one.